multimedia artist, writer, and performer. His YA collection, God Loves Hair, was shortlisted for a Lambda Literary Award. A new edition was published by Arsenal Pulp Press in 2014. His first novel, She of the Mountains, was also published in 2014. He lives in Toronto, my old hometown. She of the Mountains is an illustrated bi-queer love story interwoven with a reimagining of Hindu mythology. Besides being a finalist in this awards, it is also a finalist for the Lambda Literary Awards. Woohoo!
You are going to be my boyfriend. These were the first words Smith said to him the first time they met at a mutual friend's birthday party. This forwardness surprised him, but the prophecy itself did not. Smith was a celebrity dancer, often featured in the local news, and with each Smith sighting, each mention of Smith's name in conversation, it never felt like a random occurrence, but rather a step toward each other. It wasn't a feeling of destiny, of future promises. He was certain that Smith was out of his league, but a feeling of familiarity, as though maybe in their childhoods they had attended the same school or had played in the same park. In person, Smith was even more attractive, the magnetism of his physicality enhanced by his character. His brown hair was precisely parted, and his matching brown eyes were surrounded by lines of kindness, as though his eyes genuinely cared about every subject upon which they fell. His hands gestured delicately when he spoke, adding an element of dance to everyday conversation, and though he was a commanding 6'3", he never seemed unapproachable, always the first person to say, hello. He wasn't sure if hanging out with Smith qualified as dating, because when Smith wasn't talking about how much he adored his border collie and his family, he talked about his ex-boyfriend. It had not been an amicable breakup, and Smith was broken-hearted, but Smith was the first boy he had ever hung out with / dated, so it was easy to ignore Smith's condition and start imagining their shared life. He would work at the downtown library during the day while Smith rehearsed. On Wednesdays, they would meet for lunch at the Korean restaurant where Smith used to be a server. Their evenings would be spent reading, his head on Smith's shoulder on the second-hand love seat in their small but well-designed apartment. He would get over his fear of dogs and stock up on lint rollers. He would attend Smith's every performance, watching from side stage with a bouquet of pink roses to give to his man. The first time he saw Smith's penis, they were on Smith's couch, arms around each other, lips against each other. Oops, Smith said, signaling down with his eyes. Poking out from the waistband of his pants was what looked like a large pink thimble. He wasn't sure what to do at this point, if anything, aside from observe. Even that he wasn't sure of, and he had to remind himself, it's okay to look. Smith recognized his paralysis and pulled down his own pants and white briefs. It stood proudly between them. As he gazed at Smith's penis, he couldn't help but think of his own. This comparing and contrasting seemed to be an inevitable byproduct of having sex with a man. Many of the differences in their physical attributes could be explained by their racial differences. When Smith took off his black t-shirt, he nodded with a feeling of déjà vu. Every shirtless male body he had seen, save for the males in his own family, had looked like Smith's. Lean but muscular, smooth chest, hard stomach. Smith's body was every man's body. In GQ, the Sears catalog, movies and porn, he had digested copies of it countless times. He expected it. He worried about Smith's expectations, given that Smith had most likely never seen a naked brown body before. Before her, just the idea of the words naked and brown together had seemed incongruous, even to himself. Being brown meant he had much larger nipples, 2 puffy Hershey's Kisses, and abundance of hair everywhere. When Smith later jerked off both of their penises, he was uncomfortable with how much darker his penis was than Smith's. He was convinced if their penises were at war, his penis would be typecast as the evil one, the villain. Yes. What bewildered him most about being intimate with another man was the absence of the eureka moment he'd been anticipating and even been promised by gay males he knew, now that he was finally with the right sex, the same sex. Don't worry, once you're with a man, everything's going to make sense, they had said. But there was no great confirmation of his homosexuality with Smith, either through more frequent orgasms, or harder erections, or the sound of trumpets, or a sweeping feeling of superior satisfaction, or freedom, or truth, or peace, or home. When he put his lips around Smith's penis, or pushed his own penis into Smith's firm ass, he felt an undeniable pleasure, but not undeniably more than the pleasure he'd experienced with her. It was just different. In the minutes before sunrise, when Smith's desk, bookshelf, and their pile of clothing on the floor would gradually bear the light of a new day, he found himself thinking about her, missing her. Her face the color of palaces in Jaipur, her upturned lips that smiled even while she dreamed, her crown of curly hair, her eyes that were stars in their own right. Baby, there ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, babe. Thank you so much.
Laura Foley is the author of 4 poetry collections. Joy Street, this one, was released in July 2014. The Glass Tree won Forward's Book of the Year Award, silver, I don't know what that means, and was finalist for New Hampshire's Writers Project, Outstanding Book of Poetry. Gender. In my dream, the seductress, naked from the waist down, displays her penis, soft and gray, curved as a shell. When she enters me, I aspire to my own androgyny, like these 3 women sitting in the cafe near me, at ease in suspenders, crew cuts, tattoos, which can't disguise the cat-like softness of their eyes. Okay. Dinner party. I don't know anyone here except my new partner, Clara. I haven't spoken a word in 2 hours, but now her lawyer colleagues discuss the hostess's mother's ashes stashed upstairs in a closet, and I think, great, I will leap in with the story of how we buried my husband in the front yard, dug the hole ourselves. Yes, it's legal in New Hampshire. Yes, I got a vault. All sounds smart, resourceful, witty, and everyone will like me. I've been pretending I'm my quiet musician son, thinking deep thoughts, but feeling bored and awkward, a pained smile cracking my face. Now I've missed my chance. The husband says vaults are a terrible idea because you want the body to decompose into earth and tree roots, and I think, OMG, I buried him badly. But I'd confuse them if I did contribute, since no one knows I was married, never mind widowed, husband buried in the yard. Someone's talking cat coffins, asking maple or pine, or shiny walnut and Thai mahogany with hot pink satin lining. Someone else has a pet cemetery with wind chimes to remind them of Fluffy. Clara, shy and quiet too, smiles as I do all through dinner, though she tells me later she could have explained about ashes, the ease of letting go. Springtime in the grocery store. We're shopping, gathering ripe pineapples, kiwis, oranges, when she leans into me, coos, I love it when you talk fruit. And I whisper, mango, mango, mango. So she swoons, and soon we're rolling on the tiled floor together between the dairy aisle and the spicy condiments. like teenagers. Clara's home resting. Clara's home resting, a little unwell today. Tomorrow we'll see her doctor, follow up after brain surgery. But even when her sodium levels were dangerously low, when we knew she could go at any moment, we had a good time, putting calming music on, held hands. She recounted morphine dreams, colorful bears and totem poles, stories I wrote in my notebook. We giggled at staff behind their backs, the beady eyes of the fellow resembling an ostrich wearing a neck brace, the resident attempting broken Spanish for us, and the flustered night aide blurting, "I'm supposed to check your breathing," when she caught us kissing. Okay, 2 more. Drift. I eye-roll Aunt Lizzie, who can't see me over the phone. Tell her I'm dating a woman now, but at 90, she's adrift in uncharted seas, till I say we may marry. And she crests the wave, her kind old voice soothing, "Oh, but Laura, you're still attractive to men," grasping the rudder with practiced hands. Okay, last poem. Angle of repose. We move the bed so the head faces north, a wisdom we read from India. We dislodged a ghost, her husband, who on these sheets 3 years ago expired. We altered the angle of our repose and sleep all night in peace entwined. We wake to morning hills, trees, a green expanse, a gentle dappled light, new to us. And there we go. Okay, so next on the program is Sherry Slade. Reading from